Hey guys, and welcome back. This week we are talking about a movie that I think technically may still be in the theater. I know our theater didn't get it till weeks later, but this is the new horror film, Talk to Me. Now, this is being hailed as the first really great horror film of the year. Um, and rightfully so. This is a really great horror movie. Now, before we get into the review, let me preface this, and this will be something that will come up a lot in horror movies when a movie that comes out that's kind of new and is getting a lot of buzz. We talk about how it's the scariest movie since forever. This is the scariest movie ever made. And last year we had Barbarian, which Nick and I very much disagreed on. I didn't absolutely fall in love with that movie, but he absolutely did hate that movie. This is a movie that I could see doing that as well. This is a movie made by YouTubers, two twin brothers from Australia who ran the Raka Raka channel, or still do, I believe. And this is their first big movies from A24, so you know what you're getting into with these kind of movies. And you know what? I'm a sucker for these A24 movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm this target audience. So Talk to Me is a really original take on the whole talking to ghosts via a Ouija board, whatever we want to use, candles, crystal ball, anything like that. With it being the severed hand of a medium covered in plaster and graffitied, and that's take the hand, you say talk to me, spirit will appear. You say I let you in, and then you have 90 seconds being possessed by this ghost. And it's treated very simply in the beginning of the movie like a drug. It really does kind of play into the whole idea of the TikTok trends, that were always like scaring parents. These last few years, whether it's the Tide Pod challenge or the milk crate challenge or whatever it is you dumb kids are doing nowadays. But it's like a bunch of kids at a party. We're all hanging out, drinking, and being like, "Hey, man, you want to get possessed? Yo, do me, dog." You know how the kids talk, right, fellow students? But it does all that really original, and then transitions from that into kind of your basic. When you open a door to another world, sometimes it doesn't close all the way. Something gets brought back with you, but it does it very well. And this isn't a movie that is just like I wasn't like losing my mind at how terrifying this movie was. This movie, what it does well, which is something that I think a lot of A24 horror movies do, is while most mainstream studio movies, whether it's the Blumhouse movies, the Warner Brothers Conjuring movies, all that stuff, is their horror relies on that jump scare. You got to get that boo. And what they really do with horror in A24 and these others, and not just A24, there are mainstream movies that do this as well, just not a lot that get a lot of traction. Is so much this movie, the horror is built into the dread of this film. This movie is almost you're almost unable to breathe at times because the tension is so heavy. You're just watching these kids. You're like, don't do it. No. And so to me, that's where the most horrific stuff lies. That, and there's a scene where a spirit does some gnarly stuff to one of the persons it's inhabiting, and that was like took my breath away at how violent and quick that scene is. But again, it is doing things you've seen 1,000 times in these movies. Whether it's a movie, going all the way back to the idea of Reagan when you were speaking of The Exorcist, which has that new movie coming out that I know we'll be talking about. Talking to Captain Howdy on a Ouija board, or trying to connect with a dead loved one, and the ghost says it's your dead loved one, but how do you know it really is? It does that very well in this kind of original way of tying it again to like teenager TikTok trends. With this hand, and it's a really interesting set piece. It's a really gnarly looking piece, and and the way they use it in the movie and the way they portray the possessions are really really wild. The main actress who plays our main character, she is great, and what makes her so great is she's dealing with the loss of a parent, which may or may not have been self inflicted. So she is wanting to have that connection from the other side to know why and to find out, you know, if so, why, and to get some closure. And you deal with her uh, wanting to find that, and in doing and in wanting to find those answers, doing this the worst that you could possibly do in a situation where we're talking to dead folks. So I absolutely love this movie. I think it's fantastic. Is it going to be the scariest film ever made? No, it's not. It is, like I said, it's a movie that you've seen a million times, just done very in a new way through new eyes. And like I said, it's a Ouija board movie. It's a haunted mirror. It's whatever it is, but it's just this new take on the hand. And to me, what makes it so viable now is the tying into the internet trends, and because there's so many scenes where you're seeing somebody possessed by a ghost, and it's not a bunch of people going, "Oh my god, what are we seeing? This is the afterlife exists." It's it's just a bunch of like lights from people's phones because we all record with our camera lights on. We're just filming it. We're watching it happen through our phones and not experiencing it. And there's also the part of this movie that I kind of love, even though it's a big like you wouldn't expect it, but I kind of like how it works out. Is the couple of kids who introduce our protagonist to this trend. They walk away scot free because they do what they were. I mean, it turns out they do what they were doing, and they were like, "Oh no, no thanks, we're good, bye." I like that. So again, this isn't the scariest movie ever made. Right now, it is probably what's come out this year horror wise. It may be the most original, and I like that. While also and by original, again, I mean taking a horror genre and playing with it to give you something you really haven't seen before, and not knowing where they're gonna go with it when things get wild. So I do recommend seeing it. It's not going to again reshape the face of horror, but it is getting a lot. It runs the risk of being overhyped. But I will say I did enjoy it. So if you are interested in seeing it, I'm not going to tell you have to or you don't like scary movies, but I do. If you do, I think you would enjoy it. So go check it out. And can we please stop talking to ghosts? It didn't work out for anybody. not even the little kid from The Sixth Sense. Like he didn't work out for him either. Stop talking to dead people. They have nothing to say to you at all. Except like Beetlejuice. Just equalizing that too. I'm sure that might actually be better than the new Exorcist sequel. We'll be talking about that in January. Pretty sure. Anyway, Talk to Me is great. Go watch it. I'll see you guys next week, where we're talking about one of my most anticipated movies of the year and how does it hold up. We'll find out. Bye.